Or Christian.
Kristen, he had to be on vacation this week. Meetings.
Oh, wait, I got an email that said he would try to.
Okay, maybe he sent one a little bit later. I can do that.
You could call them studies exercise, no action.
Okay.
No.
Okay. We are too. So we'll see what we're doing. So
It looks like Chris, Nick is on. Hey, Nick, can you hear us?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep, you're good. Sorry, I didn't.
How are you guys?
I didn't figure we were gonna have it.
Stay. She goes in at 1 p.m. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's out. So. She goes to the operation. And she leaves the hospital 10 a.m. the next day. Felt nothing. You have
I had a new disc put in about 6 years ago. And same thing. I went in like one morning and I was out of the hospital at like 9 o'clock the next morning. They put a whole new disc in.
That's no son. No son had that too. So you don't know. Soon as we left the house.
And
They don't break your leg.
Yeah.
You break your leg at 6 months. So yeah, okay, but it appears anything else you can get.
it was like instant. But and it was just.
He said the artificial material, the keep it from melting.
I sent him this thing, but I'm told that it's been dry for like 3 weeks, but
Ow.
I'm
Big.
I didn't realize, I thought it was allergies, because I've been having headaches and then my arm kind of went numb. I'm like, that's weird. And then I went, and
Where'd you
it
go?
happened, down in, and it ended up first thing canceled, so head of the department. And they had, because of the cancellation, I had surgery like 4 days later. It's like, it never happens. I know, like, because I was like, do I want to do this? Like, because I've heard of horror stories, and I'm like, well, in case if it's now or in 6 months.
First year has 7 observers at a building just for the non-invasive thing. They described her scar would be, those hard plastic straws. It'd be about that size, and that's what all it was. 6 in.
Yes.
Okay. Let's call the meeting for July 10th, planning and zoning to order. There are no minutes to approve. There are no old business items to discuss. Mr. Hamilton, the floor is yours.
Okay. So we're gonna, hopefully I can get them all to share. We're gonna start with, the preliminary introduction to Scott Gordon's Phase 2 and what they have for pictures. Hopefully I can get everything to show up on the screen for everybody to see. A preliminary review of the project. Let's see, who else do I have here? Jim G. Okay. Let's see here, share. Which one do you want first, guys? Do you want your villas or do you want the map? Bless you. Hey, can you guys see that on your end, that plan?
No, I only can see the table.
It's okay. Hang on.
What's gonna play games with me? I'll try it another way. Just give me 1 second.
Right up there. If you go back to Teams,
I'm on Teams.
hit the button, hit share.
That's what I've just done.
Entire screen. You want to hit the screen. See the top where it has.
Oh, see, never mind. Gotcha.
Hit
I don't know why. I don't know why I couldn't see it. It was right in front of me.
Can you see it now?
Yep, can see it now.
Very good. Sorry. I was blind with my own vision. I can enlarge it a little bit. How's that? Is that better?
Yep,
So folks who are online, my name is Amy DePietro. I'm a civil engineer with Morrison Ritchie Associates. Also with me this evening is Mr. Chris Armstrong, with Lamar, who are the owners of the phase 2 property. What I have passed out to the group here is a packet that just includes color elevations of 3 different single-family detached home types, and then a color elevation of the villa product type. More what we talked about at the last meeting as far as if you guys are not paid.
Either in triplex or quadplex configurations.
They're
I believe we're currently at 5, right?
yeah.
Five. All right, yeah. Okay, it's hard to tell on here, right? It looks like it's 15.
Yeah, we don't have this on there yet. And then even the packet is just a small version of this that you can use to reference. So, okay, I find that paper size a little bit easier for me for people. So this is just kind of this is what happens when you guys say you like something. He gives me money to make it pretty good. So, we listened to what you said as far as we continue with the same kind of bird configuration here, the looped bird configuration. The single family detached houses remain around the outside here. And then in these 2 road zones here have incorporated that villa, the product, in this area as well. Okay. And showed, how we can fit loads of amenities here. And this is just shows you the size of a top lot and the size of 2 pickleball courts and all of these things. This is a big area that can be used for a lot of open space. And again, just because you guys are trying to do some master planning for the area, went ahead and took a high level look at the Lynch property and what could be done with theirs that they choose to sell it for development. So these lots, the villa lots, are 28 by 100 feet in size. So those would be 28 wide villa units. 28 by what? 100. Okay. And then the single family detached around the edges are 35 by 100. Generally, they're bigger, smaller, and codes and thing. Then the road lists are what you requested. We went ahead and incorporated in some additional head-in parking areas around the open space, and then along these attached products here as well, because we heard that you guys were concerned about people parking on the streets and blocking emergency vehicles and that sort of thing. So that'll be it's places for people to pull their cars off all over the road.
Guest parking.
Yep, guest parking too. So I just wanted to see what you thought about it. I know you guys are kind of in the beginning stages of rewriting the comprehensive plan. This is basically, we're seeing a lot of this type of a plan unit development with multiple product types, clustering, smaller lot sizes. So we're reducing the amount of free planning, really utilizing the land as much as possible. So
Can you describe the drainage that you're working? I mean, it looks apparent, but just to go ahead and.
oh, sure. But we haven't done a design under the new regulations yet. But I imagine it would be a combination of, we'd have a couple of larger facilities to handle bigger storms, a lot more volume coming off of them. And then smaller micro bioretention, bioswale type things in like little open space areas with the swales behind the lots. Those seem to be, there's a whole, what I call kind of a ingredient list of things that you can use to meet your stormwater management requirements. The ones that end up being the easiest to maintain and look the best are really the bioswales and the micro bioretention. Some of these other things, the rain gardens, and you end up spending a lot of money on them, and people end up building them because their kids get them, and the adults get muddy, and they don't want to deal with it. So the regulations have been in effect for quite some time now. And those are the
Heating fuel, the heating fuel. Whether it's a heat pumps or the, like, all electric. All electric. I haven't seen.
Yes, if it's in the area, then it's.
It's not natural as
Yeah.
we'd like it to be. It's close. So,
This, you guys may have all answered these before. Are they town streets or private streets?
these are designed to be town streets.
Okay, and then there's the stormwater retention. Who's maintaining all that?
Typically, the way it's handled in Maryland is that the stormwater management is responsibility of the HOA.
Would be it.
So
And that park here with the HOA. Is this stream, I'm not real familiar.
so,
And that's Red Rum, okay, that's clearly not a floodplain, we wouldn't be building on that.
no, this isn't the stream here. This is your sewer line. It
Oh,
comes right through here.
Gotcha.
There's the stream and wetland system is all over in here,
Yeah.
and then goes, and this is the town's parcel over here. And again, it's just very wet and a lot of,
look like.
when you were talking about the HOAs, because the HOAs, the state, even talking about all the other towns, it's becoming defunct. And it was a happy plan back when, but things aren't happening, and it's falling back, it's gonna be falling back on the town and counties and all that, so, for instance, phase one is, not maintained. And that is something that we need to address as well. And it's things that we're gonna be talking about here in the future, because we're gonna be having a citizen advisory group about all this. And it's not just Scott Gardens, it's in a couple other areas too, so, I don't know where we're gonna go moving forward with that. And I wanna be able to work with everybody, the residents, town, and you guys. So, for instance, the fence is still messed up over there. Yeah. The residents have been going in there doing it themselves, trying to clean it up, but it's not, they don't really have an HOA then. So, and that's part of what we're seeing is that the HOAs are defunct, and going, like I said, going to mayor's meetings, and as well as MML, that's what we're hearing across the state. So it might be great that there's this plan out there, but it doesn't work.
Do you know if there is an established HOA in Payson? If not, it's
Yeah,
All
defaulted a long time ago.
I mean, we're certainly open to whichever direction you guys want to move, but typically we create the HOA, we have an HOA budget that's established, we run the HOA until a certain percentage of the homes are sold, and usually we have to the HOA.
I'm just giving you a history.
No, I hear you.
And it's, like I said, part of citizen advisory, it's gonna be talking about stormwater and where the town needs to go with this, because we are being put into the MS4 permitting whenever the new permit, they forgot about us and we're being added in. So these are a lot of things that we have to look at.
And are you leaning towards the town maintaining or?
It's gonna end up being the town.
Yeah.
Because, but this one needs to be addressed as well, since you guys are still here. And I know that it's defunct, but we don't, there's a lot of moving parts to this.
And it's been discussed, I know in the past, but we could possibly merge the two, as phase one, phase two, and one HOA. Which, again, I'm not sure where we're going with the HOA, but that could be an option.
I'm just pointing out that across the state,
Mhm.
it's that plan, it was a great plan, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about merging, is better opportunity to get somebody volunteer for it.
Right. And you don't have too many homes contributing phase one. Phase two, you'll have a much bigger bucket.
So have you had experiences where there's a special assessment district that generates the funds for the town to essentially do the HOA with it? So that you voluntarily agree to an assessment district that could include all that. Oh, and they pay a modest, basically the same as the HOA, only goes to the town.
Well, that's part of what the citizen advisory group is gonna be thinking about
Yeah.
for the whole town. It's not just here. So just so you know that it's the fund process.
Yeah, I've heard that across, unfortunately, HOAs are mandated by the state of Maryland to be formed when you subdivide land. So, you know, it's something we gotta go back to the state and say, like, your process doesn't work. I mean, we can propose something better, but we still have to form one. Regardless.
Because who would hold title and all that?
That would remain as lands of the HOA unless for some reason the town or the county wanted it for, you know, for some reason, but it would be put into forest conservation easement.
Which is a good thing because it helps with that green zone. This is staying this way too, so. And that was one thing that we discussed at the last time is try not to cut down as many trees because of lessons learned.
Now, on the other hand, you're all aware of the Beach Street in Lee,
Yes.
and I don't know how many beech trees are out there. You're gonna lose a lot of trees anyway because of diseases, you know, from time to time. Not that it's gonna line up with the project, but forests are being challenged, depending on what species are in there. My property, I must have 15 mature beech trees, $20,000 there. They're all gonna die. All the-
One of the things, I know that we had talked about, I don't know if I said getting an intern, we have another one's gonna be with us for a year. And,
Not absolutely certain.
okay,
They're hoping to get.
that one of the things is about treatments, so the assessment fees, so that'll help with you guys too. Because we like to see what's out there and if there is issues, so it's something that we can help maintain before it gets. I know, I'm wishful thinking, by the way.
Well, I called yesterday. There's 50 interns for 150 lots. Yeah, so
All right.
apparently a lot of people dropped out. I'm like,
And the lot sizes are what size for the single family? 45. It's something.
well, I'm not on the commission. Indulge commissioners if Norman's asking questions. This is the product type in general. Are there built places around here with this unit? Yes, it's style. You know, literally, if you want to say this is what it will look like, go see it here at a certain place.
We're so early in the process, I'd be worried to say, go look at that, that's what we're doing. We have we just have so much that we still need to do, right?
Okay.
We still need to engineer, we need to understand construction costs, we need to understand the market, so. These are very preliminary, these are from other communities that were built with the product that we're anticipating to build here at this time. I don't even think we know the zoning yet, right? So,
We're
We're-
working, that's part of what it's a finding
Yeah.
thing. And one of the things we're talking about is after we figure out the actual zoning system work on that area, so that we can get that written, so by the time you're coming back with real products, we
Yeah.
can possibly have.
perfect, yeah. And I would expect that through the finance process, we would end up sending an actual product that's going to be good for review and comment. But I just wanted to get something quick to give you an idea of the things we're thinking about at this.
How far I to speak to yours?
When you're in finance, maybe
It probably will think about that long, considering they don't have zoning in place. That would-
2 years for finance.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, we'll start as soon as we get permits, so
Give a price point in today's dollars, not years.
roughly mid threes to mid fours.
Is that also for the villas too?
These are, they're all on slab constructions.
We're hoping, yes. At the earthwork is a big part of that, not knowing how much soil we have to work with on the site. But yes, ideally, the villas would be slab. There would be some basement, maybe walkout basements along here where the slope comes down. And the basements over here would probably be depending on the earthwork if we need to, or if we.
This site too, you
Yep.
know, generally this area, you know, sometimes it's easier to build a basement than it is to build a structural fill up underneath of the slab, so it'll just depend on what.
You gotta go down 3 or 4 feet for frost heaving anyway, and all of it.
So it kind of weighs out what.
And it impacts the prices to the basement, yeah, we can keep prices down, but. The best to not have basements if. You think
And then-
basements will sell.
And then it's one thing, like I said, we were talking at this last Monday, is our seniors are looking for places that they can stay here in town, and our younger families have a place that they can stay because they can't afford a lot of things in this area, so I appreciate it. And I'm hoping that we can come to an agreement with a lot of things.
I think we will.
Okay.
We will. Our goal is to keep the prices down as well.
Because that is, like I said, it's the governance initiative and talking to housing and working with NGE. But said, we're in the infancy stage on a lot of things, so. And, you
No, no.
know. Nick, do you have anything?
No, not really. You said it was 45 by 100 for the single family lots.
Yes, that's.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What is your average gap between the units, the two side yard? I think it's 10 feet, but is it 10 to 8?
In for it's right.
It's 30s, 30, yeah,
So
that's that usual 30.
yeah, so it'd be 15.
It's probably going to look like the houses that over in Charlestown Crossing in the very new section. Those houses that are close together.
Zero lot.
Just kind of for a perspective by what they were saying.
Yeah, it just makes it a little bit challenging with some of the drainage in between houses and the property lines, the setbacks, and, you know, mostly everybody has a side yard setback and then a drainage and utility easement that's centered on the lot line on either side for drainage, so we usually put them in the middle of the lots instead of.
I know, but what I'm trying to get at is a 7.5 foot side yard is a little bit better than 4 or 5, you know, but it's really not useful for too much Excel drainage and, I mean, our current center is small. It's X, unless they put up a fence, yeah, you have to get something in the backyard. And that's really the problem with backyards on this is that, you know, when I'm there, storage buildings upon delivery, they have to move in. Uh, and it's, you know, getting it back. So, 7.5 feet, you know, 7 feet, you know, some for,
Or if it's staggered, where you had 5 on one side, 10 on the other, and then the 10 is usable, more usable. So it's 5, 30 plus 10. It's 40.
oh, yeah, but if you have 5, if you're the person with 5, and I don't know where their, compressors will go. The air conditioners, if they go in the side yard, that person's got no way of getting functionally. So if their neighbor puts up a fence, it all works until somebody puts a fence up.
I'm just trying to be maybe a little more creative when
You don't
the standards process.
Yep.
And then also the hope with the, but honestly, the bullet products is that you press, up the side yards, you have some area to the side.
I mean, you could put geothermal heating and air conditioning in all these places and it takes away that problem.
Until the truck has to go here.
Yeah.
It's all about, once they're in there, getting somebody into the backyard.
And we also discussed accessibility features in the villas and the cat. I think the details we can obviously work out as far as how much accessibility, but
Ken and I have worked with the aging, so,
Yeah, I mean,
something,
a bit wide on some of it, a couple of race on the first floor,
Yeah.
10 by 10 beds.
flush doors, garage.
I think there was somebody online who was a resident.
It's like Jim G. Anybody online have anything to speak about? Questions, comments? Yeah, but they can unmute themselves. Yeah, I think that's Robin, maybe.
So this is Chad and Laurel Porter. We live at 37 Teresa. So we're adjacent to this proposed construction that you guys are talking about. I get the idea of what you guys are trying to do, but the idea that you're transitioning from single family homes to basically duplex housing, like right next to us with 150 plus houses, that's all going to funnel down these streets. Like there's no flow to that. There's no transition to go from like it looks intentional what you're doing. So is there a way to like, if you're going to do a phase 2, access that from Route 7 and not through our community? Because this just doesn't like flow from what the original plans of what Scott Gardens was supposed to be. And I get you guys can change that, but I also noticed like our properties were identified with forest retention areas, which now you have none. So I don't know how that changes, but this whole concept is fine, but it looks like it should be its own entity and its own thing, because when you go from my house to that, it just looks bad, in my opinion.
Well, I think what he's getting at is everything has to go up the laws. Everything has to funnel right through there.
And
I
then
I can't hear you guys.
no, we're just noting how all the traffic comes down to one exit on 7.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
That's like 150 homes funneling down our 2 streets that currently have 20 homes. That's a lot more traffic.
but it's also like what you're creating with senior living or whatever, like that should be like almost like its own community, because I can't see how it wouldn't be my house, which is worth X amount of dollars, be right next to something that's going to be put on some postage stamp lot with a 5-foot yard.
Yeah.
And I've got over a half-acre lot, but I'm right next to that's not going to kill our property values where people don't want to be involved with 150 other homes that don't have anything to look alike or baseline of the square footage of our house or anything. It just, I mean, in my yard alone, you've got like 1, 2, 3,
There's like
4, 7.
traffic.
Yeah, there's like 7 or 8 houses you guys are putting in my lot, like basically the size of my lot. I mean, it looks like you have a little bit of a buffer, which is great, I guess, but that's a lot of traffic to funnel through these roads and I don't know.
60 feet, please, okay.
Yeah, about, I mean, that's without grading it out, know exactly what that would be, but yes, so we're showing about a 50 to 60 foot buffer between the current development and the new lots.
But the traffic does go down existing streets,
That's basically the road network that was proposed previously.
but not the density.
No.
So. And didn't we talk once about trying to put a second? Is this what, this little spur that goes out to 7?
We'd have to investigate if that's constructible. That's right next to Del Marvis lot. It's right there. And these are along Route 7. There's a lot of grade here.
Yeah.
So we have to see if site distance works, and there's a lot of like engineering things we have to.
And the other thing we once talked about recalling was, emergency access. You've got a lot of homes, a lot of people with one exit. And if that were ever blocked somehow, I still find it interesting that there's not required second access points for fire and emergency and whatever. It's true. How do we consult with fire department, do they come in and, of course, at what point do they do that?
They have to approve it before I can go any further.
Excuse me, I'm having some trouble hearing you folks. Everything's garbled.
Charlestown Fire Company would have to approve the street length or width, and they also have to approve some other things. But like I said, this is still in a very preliminary state, and we're just getting information so that we can work things out with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to provide some feedback to say, like, undoubtedly, you guys are going to do something with the community. And when we moved here like 8 years ago, we saw a plan, but it was for X amount of single family homes. And obviously, you guys are trying to maximize the use of the area that's left. That's all fine, well, and good. But I just don't see how, like, if you let's just be honest, right? You're going to drive through and see our lots that are half-acre lots that have larger single-family homes on it that are spaced apart 25 feet or more, and now you guys are putting duplex houses side by side by side, and there's no like transition whatsoever. It's just, hey, this was an afterthought that we did 20 years later after the community was first started. And it looks like an afterthought, and we don't really care. It just now looks like this, and this is what people deal with. They drive past these single family homes and go to that. So
Yeah.
while I'm saying is, if there's opportunity that if y'all want to use that space, do what you want to do. Leave us out of it. Just start a new road somewhere, like, and make it your own. Don't call it Scott Gardens. Call it something else. If you guys are going to completely change the whole look of the neighborhood and still call it Scott Gardens, I mean, you can see a difference in the home builders between Keystone and whoever, Barry Andrews, whoever was in phase 1 of Cool Springs, but the premise is still the same. I mean, now you guys are completely changing all of that.
So you may have heard when we started that this is a preliminary presentation of the developer. And this isn't even to the point of planning and zoning. This is just their initial concept with us. And we, the town of Charlestown, have been tasked by the state to create more affordable housing. And unfortunately, one of the big drivers of cost is the price of land. So that we understand you. This is that we're going to approve this plan tonight. This is the beginning of a process. And quite honestly, your comments and your concerns are as important to us as the developer's use of land. But this is very preliminary for all parties. And you may have heard some conversation or not. A lot of what drives the way, the widths of the road, the lengths of the road, to get from to the furthest point on the development are all considerations that are brought up by the fire department. And they have enormous sway because public safety isn't something we can ignore in this process.
Yeah, I
So,
would just
but
be
we-
curious what they had to say. Sorry to cut you off there, because I actually spoke with a member of the fire department yesterday who said they had not seen this plan or heard an update.
This is
This is not.
day one.
Yeah, Day one.
This is not part of a formal process. It's like anything else. Somebody has to say the first word. They're saying the first word as beginning the process. And nobody other than whoever's online and the 6 people in this room, okay, are going down the line with any of this process to date.
And just so you're aware too, I mean, there's not even zoning in place to support this plan yet. We're here just to talk to the town about their upcoming changes to their comprehensive plan and zoning and how we can fit in with the town. So
Okay.
we're even before concepts.
Yes, and like Ken was saying, the governor has mandated and it is passed through the House and the Senate about affordable housing. So things that have been planned a long time ago, we have to go with what the state is, because if we don't do it, the state can come in and change it themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I mean, I would just offer a recommendation, like the green area that shows that section between Route 7, that's to the right of what your proposed stormwater management, it looks like could that be an opportunity to explore an entrance or exit or, a means of going in and out of this said community? If I were to give feedback on, separating our community from whatever's proposed.
Well, we thank you for your comment.
Is there anybody else on there?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
This is Jim Gherkin, and I live actually right across the street from the Porters. And first, I'll just make a few comments. I spoke with the president some time ago and was told that nothing had been decided and we would be included in this process. And it looks like everything was developed and put out to then talk about the process. And I think we should have probably been involved in at least some of this. I understand the state has mandated this. What guarantee do we have that this won't reduce our property values? And in 2008, there was a large storm that flooded out part of this area down on Route 7 and back in some parts of Cool Springs. And the town itself stopped development and told the developer they had to improve the infrastructure for water runoff. They decided to walk out, and it was left that way for a long time. Perhaps if you had been proactive then, we could have built this community the way it was supposed to have been built, and we wouldn't be worried about the governor's problems right now. But as it stands, it looks like, as Chad was saying, you go from single family homes on lots to whatever this is going to look like, for the sake of what? Fulfilling some governor's promise?
It's also
This isn't what we signed up for when you gave us the codicil that said, this is Scott Gardens, this is how many homes is going to go into it, this is what it's going to consist of. That's not what this is. That's not what we signed up for.
I hear you. Now, what you did in the past, this is a revamped comprehensive plan of the town of Charlestown, which was a year and a half in the making and going through its final approval. And part and parcel of the plan that we submitted has been that the state government has found us lacking in providing enough affordable housing for the future. And we are not out to reduce your property value. I mean, it's not in our economic interest. As you well know, your property taxes are based on your home value.
I'm not
And-
particularly concerned about your economic interests. I'm concerned about mine. Whether or
No,
not you intend for it to drop, if it does, I'm going to lose when I sell this home and move.
Yeah, and what we're saying is we don't want you to lose any housing value. I mean, that is not in the interest of the town, let alone your interest. All right, this is a submittal preliminary, not even a preliminary plan. This is just a concept between the developer and the town, say what it is they would like to do. It's then incumbent upon us to address what we know to be the problems of the neighbors, the rest of the town, and try to come up with a plan to develop this spot. I mean, they have the right to develop. We have the right to control that development. All right, so we are you in so many ways, right? But, and I understand your concern. This is step one in a process. And we will be.
Unfortunately, not to cut you off, but unfortunately, step one in that process seems to have not included the people who are affected most by it. And I know that I was told we won't make any plans, we won't do anything without input from the people that live there. I haven't heard a doggone thing.
True enough. Okay, but this is we didn't have anything to discuss until they came here this evening. Okay, so you are not being excluded or you have not been delayed in this process, right? And this process hasn't even begun. They have not made a formal proposal. We, the town, have not created zoning to allow this project. Okay,
Well, once again, I will remind you that in 2008, when that storm hit, there were approximately 20 homes here, and all kinds of flooding took place, and they wouldn't allow 44 more homes to be built because of that. What makes you think putting 165 or so homes in here is going to solve that problem? I don't understand how the infrastructure is going to be able to handle that.
Well, that is the burden of the developer to show us the stormwater management plan and that stormwater management plan is sufficient. I live in this town as well. Don't want to see it. I don't think anybody at this table wants to see extreme amounts of water runoff. We were trying to protect all that land to the left here to be watershed. So we hear your concerns. We're trying to develop these concerns, but somebody had to make the first step. They made the first step this evening, and they didn't even ask for a formal meeting. So you will be well represented, and your concerns will be well represented as we move forward.
So can you, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, sir. I don't know who's talking. Can you just talk to us about, like, you said a submission has to be made. Who is making the submission? Can you just talk about what these next steps will be or are following like this meeting and like some feedback and et cetera? Since everybody's seems like it's like a shot across the bow for this.
It's a multi-phase process. We are planning and zoning, and we have to create zoning to allow this, because you don't currently have it. We have to create that zoning in conformance with the new comprehensive plan. And that comprehensive plan, when approved by the commissioners of the town, directs planning and zoning to create zoning to support that comprehensive plan. That's our charge, and we, as your neighbors, will do that. Secondarily, if you're talking about what's the next step for the developer has to wait until we have zoning in place. They have other things that will come up just in our conversations with them when we talk about how is the fire department going to be able to access these roads, what's going to happen with the storm water, a whole series of things to go through. This is just, it's in its nascent stage today. And again, it's not a formal meeting. It's an opportunity for them to present what they have in mind, which makes it incumbent upon us to come back to them and say, these things we find good, these things we find in nonconformity, right? But it's, in a way, it's sort of like shoveling snow before it hits the ground, right? We are going to shovel snow, right? We have to let it hit the ground.
So you're saying that the zoning change is up to you guys to make the change, like it doesn't have to go to the county because the town basically governs itself, so you have the authority to go ahead and change the zoning?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Now, we have to develop that zoning in conformance with the state dictates and the comprehensive plan of the town. So we're not free to run amok, but we're presented with the challenge that we have to create areas for housing. And that's what we're trying to do, not only where you are, but even in the old section of town that has a single family home ban. I mean, not a ban for anything but single family housing. This is a comprehensive plan for the town, and it's the direction the town wants to go for the next 10 years.
And
If I might chime in for, go ahead, Chad.
I was just going to ask, who is the developer?
Lennar.
Lennar.
So Lennar was the original, actually Barry Andrews was original and Lennar took over. And Lennar abandoned that project. And now there's an opportunity to put 150 homes instead of 60. So it'll be pretty good for them. And I agree with Chad, this first row of homes, it's directly across from mine and Miss Jones, who lives next door, and right adjacent to his property. And it is quite different in architecture from what we live in. Now, if this goes forward and it's, to me, it's academic, the zoning will eventually change because the town gets to do its own, so it will change. What is the time frame before they start breaking ground and before homes gets put in?
I would imagine roughly 2 years. These are slow
So
processes.
2 years before the ground starts, before anybody breaks ground.
I would imagine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And the drawing that you have here, like, will change, not change, or like, I know you said this is the first shot at it, but like, when do we see this again, or?
But that I don't know. I mean, they're going to go back and we're going to talk ourselves. They're going to talk. So I truly don't know.
Okay, like I was just saying, like the common area, like let's say like to Jim's point about like how these houses are directly across from the single family section, like just a suggestion, like is there an opportunity to swing that common area to kind of create a barrier or a break zone between the two communities?
I don't know, and I doubt the developer knows at this point in time. I mean, they are by and large a prisoner to the town until the town comes up with planning with a zoning ordinance for this area. There's nothing else I would like to, if you're done, to move on with our agenda. Thank you for your input. Thank you.
We can also, if there's any questions, that's that would be, that's a little bit more. And then if we have any more questions.
I'm sorry, I can't understand a word you're saying.
They're leaving.
You're saying goodbye.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, next item.
Next item on is the comp plan questions and comments review.
This is hot off the press, the summary of over 50 comments received from the planning commission and the various state agencies. Oh, I got a bunch of them.
Nick, I'm getting you one.
And I just want to give you a quick overview of how I set it up. And it's all, of course, a working document. So if you want to do something different, by all means. So you can see here, the comment numbers are 1 through, I think, 50 something. And in the various documents that are the comments, I put the number in the document. You go back to the original comment and read it. We're going to post those on the website so anybody can see them, the corresponding letters, comments. But the source is under commenter, the page of the comp plan, for example, at your April 3rd meeting, one of you, I don't remember, on page 9 said, please correct this, right?
It was me.
That was you. And you know what? I called County Transit and they said there is no regular route, only the dollar.
So they stopped it.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. So the idea is on the page number or the section, is this a correction, a direction from an agency that says do something because state law says you have to do it? That's a direction. And then further on, there's just lots of suggestions and reminders in most of the state letters. So if you turn the pages, you'll see recommended, encourage, consistent, a couple more corrections. The bulk of there's maybe a dozen changes that are really a real physical change under corrections. A lot of them from the planning commissions and a couple down here further back from some of the state agencies. So I tried to make the comment real brief here. And then the last column on the table is what I suggest, but certainly I'll take direction, of course, from everyone as to whether we need to modify the text, make a correction, or NA means no action to the text. It's still something important. It's just I don't have to change anything in the actual document because it was just a suggestion or information item.
Okay.
So I was going to allow this or ask you all to look at it for a while. And from this, then I would work up the final adoptable version of the comp plan.
Okay.
And that's what would come back to the planning commission and or the commission, however you want to do, maybe a joint meeting, so you can save some time where you all basically can adopt, hopefully by September or sooner.
We all know
Yeah, that October deadline. So,
it would have to be adopted the first meeting of September.
Yes.
or in August if it's ability.
Yes, at the latest, the latest meeting is, the first legislative meeting is where we vote,
Okay.
the first meeting in
And that
September.
would be, it would be the Tuesday after Labor Day. That's probably not.
No, it's the following.
Okay. So the Tuesday of the second week, basically.
Yeah.
September. That's our target date.
Yeah, we cannot, and if you encourage for us to get together beforehand so that we can make any comments or suggestions.
That makes sense.
Work session.
At your question, because I will go ahead and make the obvious corrections that are noted. Things
Okay.
that the commission's already suggested. A couple, there's really only two major rewrites that I found. Let me find them for you. One involves the water study. We now have a different water study that we
Yeah.
want to incorporate in here. And the other is a state law regarding fair housing. And we have to do more in our housing sector.
Yeah, which one is that? Because
Okay.
when I read that, there's comments, I was like,
Yeah,
"Jeez."
I know.
I said, oh my God, I was panicking.
And the state, I've called number 29. Couple pages, that's HCD, that HB 90, housing, HB 90?
And that was something,
House bill.
yeah, they want us to put a legislation for that here. Most, and this is where I don't want this to happen anymore. And correct me if I'm wrong. Most places, counties and towns are taking the state, copy paste,
Yeah.
Charlestown, okay? That's what's gotten us in trouble in the past.
It appears that you adopt that,
You're done.
you're giving away a range. I mean,
But
that's
I,
brutal.
The good news is, we don't have to send our comp plan back to the state for approval. We just
Okay.
adopt it. And if you feel, if you're attorney, that you're complying with state law, that's your deal.
I've mentioned at meetings and stuff, and there's a lot of other places that have not adopted because of the same, that we're all thinking the same thing. We're not just gonna go copy paste. It's not that we don't want to, and we know that we have to, but I want to have us make it
Right,
Here.
utilize it. Yeah, I mean, there's so much.
That's what happened even with our comp plan so many years ago. That they said, oh, you have to have a comp plan. And you have 3 months to put it together.
You know, I don't know how well versed you are with the IDL. Sensitive development area.
Yeah.
It allows us to have order. Okay, I mean, there's not a law in the world that will allow you to develop that, but it is. So that's what it is. And I'm wondering if we shouldn't make roughly the same argument. It says, we are not a town with a vast amount of land that we can do things.
Resources.
We are limited to these, we have 10, 15 infills maybe left in Old Town.
Yeah.
You have this project across the road, and I do believe that's it. We're like, that's stuff.
And,
That's all right.
and, yeah, and Lynch property that goes through. Which is the one next to.
Yeah, that's like
To.
50,
We better,
that's
Well,
50,
radar.
about 55 acres total between the two properties. It's
better
together.
put our commercial and
Yeah.
there. I mean,
Yeah.
because, but what I'm saying is, our responses. We're not huge. We don't have all the room in the world to do everything.
I will tell you, not this year, but last year, the president of the MML, his goal was that he wanted to come to every town in, incorporated town. He did it. In his, 1 year, he went to every town. He came here and he had this grandeur on, I said, what about this affordable housing thing? We don't have a lot of property. And we drove him around, he goes, we don't, no. And so, but I also know, like, we've been talking, the state's mandating for us to do things, and we have to figure it out, because if we don't figure it out, they're gonna come in. and tell
Right,
us.
well, what I'm saying is a response, I would like to couch our language much like the IDL language for waterfront, which is, we don't have a lot of land. Affordable housing also requires transportation element. Okay, there isn't public transportation, there isn't quick access to public transportation, even the light rail, you don't have to go to Perryville. And so when we frame our answers that we put in, we tried, okay, and we may have hoped, I'll make up stuff, 500 units. We could do 5.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's not that we're hostile to the other 495 units, we don't have it.
And then, and you know how I feel about stormwater, so this is a big thing, and we need to figure out lessons learned of like what happened with Cool Springs, Trinity, and even phase 1 of Scott Garden, okay? Cliff cutting and saying I plant tree is not the way, it doesn't work, and we're now fixing. And look what even Cool Springs, they cut the whole forest retention there, but they or the, I don't even know if it's they finished it, but they had to go back in and replant it.
Yeah, I don't think it's done.
The county said why. But again, lessons learned, and part of the new thing is somebody from the town is going out now. So look, it's not going to be just here's an as-built.
Well, I don't want to. I don't think we should panic in the sense. I mean, I haven't been to the meetings you have, of course, but when you look at the data, the town is not. The median income and all that is above county average. So you don't have a lot of statistics available to say you've got this large population of flowing who are overburdened and overhoused.
Actually, we don't.
Do we?
Because
Okay, now let me-
Our seniors, I'm going by, okay,
Yeah.
our young people are moving away because they can't live here.
But I'm looking at
Okay,
real data.
I am too. Okay, I'm looking at all of our kids have moved away. Okay, I'm looking at our seniors that are leaving town because they can't grow with the house that they're in. Okay, so that is real data because we're watching the people
But
leave,
don't the kids leave because there's no job?
not necessarily.
What would they do here? I mean, there's really no employment in town.
Right.
Now, they could live here and work in the county.
Most of us do.
Yeah.
And that's even the people that are not young. We do not work here in
Well, the
town.
place has always been.
Yeah, we're a bedroom community.
So what I'm hearing
You're
you say.
thinking
Yeah.
that we have industry and we don't. We are a bedroom community, always have been. And that is, we have to think about the fact that we're either going to Delaware or we're going over to Hartford County and we're working for the federal government.
For a while. Yeah.
Shush,
Okay.
still there, okay?
All right, so what your housing talk, there's starter housing, sort of the 20 something. And then there's the seniors need to scale down
Yes,
to get out of a very burdensome building
Yeah.
with lots of moving.
and that's what,
And that's typical demographics.
that's what developer,
It's
the villas, single story.
Yeah, the only thing that makes us unique is the vast number of homes in Old Town, when we use part of here. I mean, that's most towns don't have that. I would imagine every border town has that situation. And the only reason our statistics aren't 50 or 60% is because of Sky Gardens and well, all development 7.
And that's, we've had some very wealthy people that live here.
Yeah.
Very wealthy people, even since we started on the board, even before that, we have never qualified. Because of those few people that have skewed our income and we do not get it. However, the school gets some funding because of the low income, where the town does not because of the population that's going to the school. So you're not looking at all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
data.
Well, if this is their second home. why should we be- I mean, we should get back.
I've always
economic
been,
equation.
I've been frustrated with the whole process. Your averaging, because we have these skewed things that are out there, not necessarily here. Now, 300 to 400, it's not cheap, but it's still,
And today's
in today's world, that is more affordable than a lot of the homes that are there. And, we have to look at a lot of things, and it's not just that. We have to talk to Cecil County Public Schools too, because is our schools gonna be able to accommodate? Now, I do know that the population is starting to drop again, that cycle's happening. So there's a lot of things to consider.
I don't want to, I'm not proposing this, I'm just thinking in any affordable housing study, we're focused on for sale. But a lot of the affordable policies are focused on rental housing.
Oh,
Well, no. so
And
we
they
were
don't
talking-
provide almost any of them.
when
I
we
mean, it's in
were-
the county,
When we were talking to the secretary,
what he's saying.
there is the big A and the little A, so we can do something in the
Okay,
middle,
okay.
okay? So there is that it's that, if we do the rental, then it would be a 40-year,
Yeah.
but this is not.
I mean, I think we're all right unless we're supposed to be a firm.
Yeah.
I mean, we can say we don't have low income rent housing, so have, charges to get to be firm about it. And we've got to make something,
That's not,
yeah.
I
So-
mean, not everybody wants or can afford to buy it. You've got to have 20% down and all that. So right there, we're just sort of split it in the market. Or
well-
the entire market.
HUD has changed a lot of the regulations, that they now include a lot more things that they didn't. So I'm not sure if you're paying attention to that. So I do.
Okay, great.
So, there's, don't have to have 20% down.
Okay, so I like FHA. then. Okay, all right, good to know.
They just, stated that December 31st or January 1st was the beginning of the
So there's
new.
ways like
You
that.
don't have enough money, so you can pay more, hopefully.
Why we get you?
Why?
Yeah, that's the amendment.
Okay,
VA loans are also like, what's it, 2%?
yeah,
And then there's accessory dwelling.
yeah, that's something else we're gonna talk about here in a minute. I think.
You good?
Yeah, we'll distribute this.
Nick, do you have anything or is he still on or did he have to go? He went. Okay. I'll get him.
Ken will distribute,
And
you know, and distribute this electronically to everybody.
Yep.
What kind of review period, or you just want to move ahead to a scheduled meeting to have a work session, and you want to just sort of do that by the end of the month or early August? I need about 3 or 4 weeks would be ideal for me.
Okay.
Let's do,
Early August.
can set up a Wednesday or a Thursday or
Yes.
to do a historic zoning commissioner public.
My goal would be to have a complete markup of the comp plan with in track changes. You can see the changes I made that correspond to these. Like. And then anything else you want to do before we deem it ready to adopt.
Yeah, I got a couple comments on. Send.
Okay, yeah, we do. So,
Start look at this, go through my book again.
okay.
Okay.
Next is this.
Yes.
You get to draw now.
Well, I want to bring in that one little crazy section that is a moment.
You want me to try to move the camera to where people online can see that?
Yeah.
Or
Do we have it on, you have it on your computer, that you at least put it up there?
Yes.
But yes, the camera can go down there, but they're not gonna, what we can do is draw and I can put the camera. up.
yeah, it's only that little odd we do for there.
See.
Public. Actually, the more that we look at this, I think this is.
It is what it is. I mean,
I know, but what I'm saying is, looking at this instead of the way it's written for a film year. I think that we can, there's more.
Mhm.
And to make it more resident friendly. So it's not.
Not high enough.
Hang on one moment. That's what I thought.
No.
You want to talk about it? I'm sorry, Robin. Is that Robin?
No.
No, who's that?
That's good. Darwin.
Can you see that okay? Or do you want me to make it closer? No, there was somebody else on it. Unless they dropped off. Okay, it's all right. It'll be on recording then.
Oh, put it in. We're currently looking at a map of Charlestown, and we're looking at and see if any changes to the zoning map could occur.
What was talked about at the last meeting? In red drum. Here, one. And then. This is another. Right here, and then we have this section, all this new section. And then the existing development.
So have this defined equals to. It's a big tree, some streams.
This little part will still be. This might be part of it. Because. This can be. Everything. Stream is, I would think, would be a wider. That it comes over to. Well, at least the Carpenter's Point, because one of the things that was never put in is. young Glenville property, states, not property. That should be commercial, from never was, but this is commercial. Which I want, it's on record that we know that. And that's one of the things we want to fix.
Put it on the other side of the, put it up here, it's north side.
But it, maybe, but it here, Carpenter's Point, this section, and then this section here, I guess. So we want to keep this.
Since Jones.
Like-
A little farm looking thing. Yeah. 67 about farm. This is the, yes, we did this out. This is the Payne's property right here.
This is something we should get,
Right.
Charlie.
They try.
This is something we probably should get Charlie to look into. That one. 28 are already there, so that we can. But because it's always been ours and not anywhere, it's not really helpful.
Hmm.
So we're, Charlie was in, Arden, helping us. Figure out what's. Finding the old records is basically.
Yeah, and,
So
at least that's in that triangle with David Dahlstrom down years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so he just asked me about it.
All right.
Is there any other weird,
So if you go up on Mill Street, the other side. The weird one is that one little cutout where the beach corner is, and where, Ken Lloyd's in the property on the,
oh,
Sure.
this is over here,
yeah,
this is not in town,
no,
they have water down in here,
yes.
but it is not in town. And part of the thing is that we can, I mean, this, backside's not in, the Liza Lane extension. Is this the Liza Lane extension? I think it
This is
is.
the lot, this is where that little offshoot runs in across.
It's this.
Also, but property down in the front of the word. This is the green.
I knew this. I knew here, but I didn't realize.
Oh, it's up.
Oh, yeah, it's not in there.
It said that
That whole little sentence.
state of Tennessee support.
Yeah. So the justice of property,
So you know, this is website.
yeah, that's the That would be- property.
Okay.
Robert's property, the beach camera. And that whole section across the tracks.
That whole section on Route 7. Try to. On where it kind of goes up and around and up on Route 7.
So this section
Yeah, that, because there's houses here
that are not in town.
that are not in town, but we provide them with water. But there's also a house over there that's not in town that we didn't give them.
I do believe that we have annexed. Couple of these homes.
Not,
We haven't, we gave them water.
they signed a thing and said they will.
Okay, we
But
haven't done it.
we, part of it is, once we do the water study and see things, that is one of the things that we want to do is to move it in to make it, but we don't want to do it. Try to do it all at one time, what we do, instead of spending money to do this little part. This little part, this little part, do it all.
We go up to, or our number lady, and make a left right by the church. That house right in front of you is in town. The next house is in town and then there's a cutout with this. It's not in town. And then it comes back.
It's almost like,
It's like 3 or 4 houses.
it's almost like a manor and how that is put
Yeah,
in.
just on the street, yeah.
And this is our woods, right? This is the 20 acres.
So it
This is Kings. Where's our woods?
should be. It's
It's this.
Yeah, it should be.
So something like this.
It was your the town's property back, right up to the back of the number. And the property is.
Look, this is saying this is not. Oh, no. Because this is, no, I'm wrong. It's this up here. This is this. Because this is the sewer
And
plant.
you're talking about these. We're talking about the property.
Yeah, well, it's on top of this point back this way. So it's this, right?
It's- There is a section of his. That's the one about you can. Scott Rowlands and King, the Lynch's property that wraps around.
Yeah, that's what I was saying is
That's
this is-
it.
that's the 20 acres that are comprehensive and one of us. We're the,
It's a great stop there.
yes. This has to, can't,
Yeah,
because this guy, he actually has cameras sitting here and he signed a paper and he doesn't want to put a truck right there, and doesn't want anything. So a lock gate and he's got cameras.
It's funny because if you go out on Route 40, it says school spring break. That.
Okay, let's go back here. This is the game province. And this is just and sewage. This is Scott too. That just kind of puts it, this is rid of
Fair amount of towns.
and you're saying, even though this is saying it's in town, they're not all in there.
On Route 7, yeah, possibly. And this is the reason really, man, because we, maybe the houses that they wanted that one downtown, there's 30. 2 lots attached to it, one of them already had town water to it. The other one did not have town water, who asked to put town water, and we turned that down because we hadn't planned for. So we never go up. That was the prices.
And this area is getting ready to start sewer. September-ish. They would like to. On this. This area has sewer. There's small talk about water. They've already come to us and it's like, why did we turn them down? Because at the time, our water study wasn't in and we couldn't.
We couldn't, and there were some problems with some. Even in critical area issues over that there's been some development from the here. It's all been technically taken care of in the court systems as most of us accusations and it needs to be done. As we saw, it's very good though. Yeah. Anything,
anything in the town is 100% compliant. It's given a lot to do, which is there. And we're actually in the joint permit with us right now, with the town, we're working on one to try and develop that property into something nice, or maybe a whole trailer and that stuff.
This is what we were told we didn't have in the RC that were the piers and stuff are, right?
That's, that was a comment on that, right? About the piers not being. Really. That's not wrong.
I remember the pier, oh, Pier C,
Yeah.
Stop.
See that.
just as not listed as one of the, I mean, the parts,
No, okay.
that's what it was.
I guess it was angry before for the peerage. It's in.
We didn't count them.
Well, no, well, this is setting the limits, right? I don't think we own the water.
No. But you own,
So it's always been an issue who owns the piers.
And DD or us.
Yeah. Or the landowner owns it, says it's not in the text.
who built?
Well, one of them, the town did, and I think that's the one that's incorporated in the town. Yeah. Well, no, honestly, they.
It's, here is the one that we have granted for. PDOT, they went for it long before you and I were here. And it was determined because it was at the end of the street, that's how it was. And then it was rented. And the renters put the money into it. And then because of the way the economy was, the town. But owning it and taking over the loans, so,
Built it originally.
Charlestown Marina.
Marina here for her.
It's right here, is this a boat ramp?
And here, the work. But anyway, getting sidetracked. We had talked about the last one. This section. Or is it gonna be the last? Definitely this is what we have to work on.
I heard the Payne was already zoned for an even big. There's more to part seven, so that's something. So months up, when you can do R2.
Something.
There.
But even here. This property here, and here, so maybe it's split to where the lynch is, and you. Possibly have the stores. Housing, a mixed thing,
And
and then can go up.
I think it probably stop. Okay, it's a, I think it's a little stub with that. Yeah.
So can I ask a question? That's might be obvious, you all. We have in the comp plan proposed future land use. Map 6. Which is a general category. Okay, that's where I was going. And the things you're talking about here, it's kind of backwards. You're supposed to do the comp plan, then the zoning, and you're kind of doing the zoning, and then we got to change the comp plan, which is fine.
And that's what I was talking about.
Okay, all right. I just need to know.
Before this is approved,
Absolutely.
because we have to do more of what the state is asking us to do. So it's kind of a mix.
This will change. That's all I need to know.
Here,
Yes,
this is
make that. So R2, you
really
can build houses.
this too.
That kind of
Stop
stuff,
there.
other stuff.
630 or 640 is the last bottom.
So here, over to here, right?
And I remember Dave told us years ago that we could make any number of zones. So we can
So
make it, yeah, we can make a zone, 10 worth of what files are there. And that's a step, that's commercially going to be. All. And that I think, if we put in with 3. That allows every type.
So this- Put them on.
Okay. Yeah, and what do you hear, R3 and
To what we have now, right?
Yeah.
All three.
And then we'll write a separate commercial zone instead of having, I think we have more than four commercial. That's like 3 years, great. And that's really a good program, and we can. I mean, anything. We look at it. And,
So this is ours. This is that 20 acres of woods, okay?
you want that for leadership. Yeah.
Okay, that's off limits. This is Scott Gardens too, and this is part of what we need to work on this area because of based on what the state is asking. Yes, with this being zone. Do you want this whole area or do you want this area to be like a zone too?
Wouldn't change zoning for existing homes.
This is already
R2. Yeah, and I guess that where we're talking about,
the original Scott Gardens is going.
you need probably a second R4 to handle the lot
So
size.
this is zone two. That's what I'm
That would be like,
R4.
and it just all that would change on the zoning is the lot size.
Okay.
This right now, everything's 10,000 square feet.
Well, right now it's still R1, so we can fund kind of.
Also, okay, so it's gotta be 7%.
All right,
Could be-
so
Just something to think about. Instead of giving the zoning of the actual one, if you go zoning one level down and then you have a density bonus that you grant because you're getting good public benefit. And you have a way to give a density bonus. You get up to what Lennar wants, but you got a hook on them.
it's also what,
I understand, but,
but it's also, we're doing away with ours.
oh, okay.
And
I'm just saying, density
pretty much-
bonus is a very.
That meeting that we went to, that the state was saying this is the pilot and this is what we all need to start going towards. If they start saying it, that means sometime down the pike in the next couple of years, they're gonna go, this is what we want now.
Unless, but can they take over your zoning authority?
They're gonna.
But they're working on it now.
See what the voters say about that.
It's not the vote.
I'm just thinking, yeah, I've seen it in other states where the state.
They have
And the
put it
voters.
up, they have put it up on. This is the fourth year in a row that they put it in there to take the wind zoning from.
Yeah, the hard pressed to, it's the urban village.
Right,
We may know, but that's, they have urban density.
and that applies to charters.
That's part of, there was one of the bills that didn't get shot down, so it's tabled. That they want to take away the charters.
Who's gonna run zoning in the state?
We would still have zoning, but we have to follow theirs,
That they would give support.
So you're just basically implementing, yeah, state.
Yeah,
which in a
there's-
way, we kind of,
Yeah, there's
in the code, they could change and,
planning and zoning. Two differential cities.
yes.
Cool.
Directly, that is exactly, and that's why if we. And even talking to the Secretary of Housing, he would like that we're doing this, it's all part of.
But
And
you
talking to them,
break the Sky Guards and they come up with a word, see, it'll set of language. So this will change
so
the density,
this,
but what's its purpose?
My question-
Special purpose.
these houses here. These are how many acre lots?
They're all at least, okay, around 20,000 square feet, so, but at least some of them closer to the big.
Well,
And
okay,
Scott one.
Scott one.
Yeah.
So this is, oh, okay, on 7,
They're all one, so they're all at least 20,000
Also,
square
keep
feet.
that. It's only way. The ones, the houses that are approaching 7, they drive about a mile, to get there. It's a So legitimate point.
So these are all 20,000.
At least
Look back here,
10,000.
here.
But well, I think some of those are all one actually.
Yeah, that'd be.
So I know
50,000.
like charity court, those are like 81s.
Yeah, they're all, that's all one. And
I mean-
the rental Trinity was all like one of them.
If you are three is, 10,000 square feet, unless you're a
So-
top record.
So basically, cutting Trinity. This was what the least.
If you cut off Trinity, if you basically cut Trinity one and came straight across to this way without hitting. full
So
Trinity.
here,
Yeah,
straight across here. Well, they end right here,
right.
because this is the preserves.
Yes.
So, oh, wait a minute, that's wrong. Because they come up, this is still Trinity too, so,
This is all.
this is part of it, so it would be right here. Over here. Over to here, right?
Yeah.
And then the preserves. What are they?
Public park, the park Cold Springs.
What is this? This would be zone,
Your retention.
Right,
It's fixed.
right now, they are. Well, they can be whatever we want them.
Because it's all built out.
right now, I'm just putting what's there now, we can change whatever it is. So basically, this down through Scott one is pretty much the same.
No. All of this is pole two, which is all Cold Springs.
Scott,
All of this is on one. It's got one of that. Was the thing, you know, for out there, one.
so this, This should
thing
go up
is,
here.
it's- So, this is. Yeah, whoever it was in the extended. It's,
so this needs to go over to like this. And then everything. So this is the same zone.
yes.
Yeah, that I figured you're gonna start writing on the back of your nails.
Yeah. Then it's another zone. Okay, so we have. This is, I would say. This is zone two, right? This is zone, I mean, three, right?
It's the.
Yeah.
Actually, pretty-
This is zone three.
Yeah.
This is zone four.
Yeah, possible. Doesn't really matter that it's still possible. The only thing that changes is if, I mean, accessory use.
Yeah, and it's gonna be maintained what it is, even if it's built out. People
Yeah.
tap it. So
Things on here about discussion. What, where, you know, and stuff. So over here, the rest of this would be a zone here, right?
Yeah.
So this is the woods that the asphalt people have, right? Extends. But is this at the moment, how is it zoned? Is it residential?
And I think all of it is, if you see a town, none of it's commercial, this is all one.
So they're using this as green space.
it's all R1, yeah, it's huge.
Okay, so this is zone five.
Even one comes all the way up into the back. There's a portion over there that's in Cologne, way up there. Yeah, it's going all the way up there, it's still all in. And plots.
So this, and I'm not saying we're gonna use the zones, we're just, right now, this is zone five.
So I'm.
down to this,
It's R3.
what? This section should almost be part of Zone 1, shouldn't it? No, this is Zone 1 if we bring it in.
Well, it's a pretty harsh line. Okay, between the R1 and the R3.
What's R2? That thing,
Yellow's R3.
and then the, that little part that's bumped out is R2.
Yeah.
And there's actually, even if you look on that map, there's a piece that's dead wrong, you know, that was part of, Holiday Beach Campground, part of it's in residential recreation, and the other one is in R3 as something totally different, so, on how that happened.
So here's the thing, do we make,
See, the beauty of right now, it's R3, it allows anything.
Yeah.
So that makes it,
so we can make, where it says R2, we can change it?
well, we can change it if we want, but what I'm saying is the current Old Town, what's left is R3. Which is the most, liberal zoning. Now, you could that's it for the start, but,
So make this area here,
well, is it,
Six.
whatever zone is 6, yeah.
Overlay single family verbiage in 175 disappeared.
so this is
So something,
R3 and 2, right,
Right.
this is at the moment R2. I'm just putting that on the phone, okay?
nice of you if we just said something like approved by this board, but haven't get rid of the.
Yes, and that's
No,
part of,
no single family,
So-
no single family.
do you like this? Take a picture of this?
They come in at night and change it.
This was the big one, because we preliminary talked about it, in the map they showed, it was nice stuff. Oh, and then because he got it laminated and all that stuff, so, I think this is a good start. Yes. Take a picture, and then I want to ask some questions real quick, okay, and then I promise, I won't make the meetings, okay? That's just funny, but I'm just too much way. Okay, some questions that I wrote down. When we're talking about these overlays, because that was something, that was discussed. First, the AUDs must be implemented, or ADUs, I'm sorry, I got it written back.
That's all right.
It's because that's our new computer thing at work, okay, so I'm getting the acronyms wrong. It was passed, and we have to have our ordinance for it by October 2026. I was thinking in my head it was this October, but it's actually next October. Just for reference, did I show you? I think you were here, we were here. We saw one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think what they have is pretty good. I mean, let's go.
Beautiful.
Did you see one going out towards the waste treatment? I just had. Yeah.
Make it next to it.
So their state have a maximum size of like 800 or 500 square feet.
There is,
Some states do.
To make it.
I gotta pull it up again. But like, this is one of the bedrooms that are in it. This is 12-foot lot. I can't remember the side, but one of the things that I asked is our mandate is sprinkler. And they said, that's not a problem. We can add a little section on the back of it and they can have the tank there. But
I guess we can, since we're going to break the emergency system,
yes,
because the first thing you're going to do is second.
that's a visionary.
Well, one of the questions that comes up is, should the ADU have its own separate meters that connect, plug into the,
I would, I mean,
it's a meter connection thing. add up.
Also, because it's one of most of the people that I would think on the don't have sprinklers. So their ADUs want to have. Right, so their water supply, if they're just tapping off the 3/4 inch line to the pump, is never going to be able to.
Is the sprinkler, that's a town requirement,
Yes.
so you could waive it for a little bit. If the main house doesn't have it, then
That's, I think
That
that's
would be.
no, I'm asking.
Yeah,
They took it out, but the fire company is very boisterous over the fact that
So it's
really,
really,
of all the things you don't, is something in the backyard.
Sure.
Fire, you can't get there.
but what you also,
and for the grand scheme of things, to put it in while the construction is, it's not a lot.
no, but the ripple effect is you have to upgrade your entire water. And that's an unforeseen expense that could be quite expensive.
Well, what I'm saying is that I'm not the developer of their ADU.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want it, do it. And I would think that water and sewer hookup, one besides being an advantage to the town,
Sure.
okay, makes it a dwelling unit.
And that makes a good point, because that was something that they talked about, back in here, or what they were talking about with these, that if it's in an HOA, it actually, that dwelling can have a separate vote in the HOA, and they can get an extra thing, so it
Easy.
is a dwelling unit,
Yeah.
and HOAs cannot ban it, so.
What I think happens is first comes up, it's the A.
Yeah,
And you don't think about the U. Okay, but if it's all dwelling unit, then you know what, we'll have water sewer. And I don't know what happens about what's required for your and
Complete cooking and storage.
well, this thing says, this unit has, there's a refrigerator, cook stove, like a microwave convention oven, and then the regular cooking unit and full bath, yeah.
I think what we have, yeah. Oh, they're nice. I mean, I even like the little dome kind of things that are 16 square feet. I mean, but they need to pay us so we can show them mental health services.
No,
Here, it
Sell.
is House Bill 1466, Senate Bill 891, requirements and, established state policy to support, requires local government to pass to allow ADU, stop property rules from unfairly blocking the homeowner from building or renting ADUs, and let HOAs treat the ADU like a separate lot for voting and fees.
Well, I hear it, and you know what? To give them free reign, we should have dedicated parking. I mean, you want to do it, do it.
now,
And
I'm sorry.
that's it.
Well, what you pointed out, the example is a separate detached unit. Does the state law also mandate that we have to allow conversion of existing space, conversion of garage, something like that, that's in the main house as an ADU or an addition to that house,
I will look it up, but most of this is talking about a separate.
separate detached?
Yes.
I think because people think that the problems come down, it's around. But you're right, for a home renovation, that used to be the biggest part of it. So somebody would put something in the basement,
Or to convert the garage into
right? Well, the basement's the worst because then they needed a means of egress.
all the.
But garage is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But they could get around almost everything by staying in the separate bedroom. Okay, I mean,
No, I wouldn't convert part of mine from an ADU.
They actually.
City hasn't allowed it yet, Delaware hasn't.
You actually do. It's from 1155 what's the program for you.
1155?
Yep, they got the garage there with an apartment inside of it. Back the occupancy permit was to less than 6 weeks. And we had the meeting. They were supposed to, but the county signed off on the inspection, while they were supposed to have to put their own sewer main into the main. We ended up filling the water off the original.
Yeah.
Can't we say,
Well, it was not.
but
supposed
because
to
we
happen.
don't, because
Yeah, not supposed to happen, it was not inspected properly, and it was very underground.
But if you're interested in affordability, isn't it less expensive to tap into your existing electric and your existing water and your existing sewer, assuming they can handle it, than running all new connections
one of this,
to your main?
I agree. Most of
That's
this,
an issue.
like the house that's on, Charlestown Place, that's a multi-family, single dwelling, okay? That multi-generations live in there, but they have their own kind of separate. It's a beautiful house. That's a big house. But that's the way the economy is. Families need to be coming together and that's where this all came about, is that it's the in-law suite that's out back, or it's, you have a child that's kind of in college, but kind of not, so you're kind of giving them too, so.
And in the long run, it makes sense, but every time you approve.
But we
there's
need to
another-
write it,
Yeah,
we need to, yes,
I mean, I get it in one personal situation. But
and that's something we have.
they're beginning to tax the resources in the town, and for that, you gotta pay.
Every time you put a new water main in.
Yeah.
You're having strain to water pump.
That's.
So the way around is no meter.
Right.
Okay, but from the town standpoint, you're flowing more. Water. I mean, you have to think that people are putting accessory dwelling units, have somebody live inside.
Yeah.
These are all things to look at. We have a year and a half to put it together, but this is an
Oh,
initial.
what I'm saying to you guys, I think, put in a comprehensive plan for the readers. Don't attend that public meeting.
Well, the comp plan could say, we'll develop an ADU ordinance and compliant with state law, we don't.
What I'm saying for us, we have, us as this board needs to write, we have till before next October to put this together and not copy paste.
And we start. We used to keep a file, throwing in the ideas.
Is state law written in the sense, you don't pass the ordinance, state permit over superseded, right? So if you don't do it, you can still go through.
And you can't go back. If you do it, and that's what they're doing now. It's not like, oh, I didn't do that. I'm gonna go back and do it. And then,
Conditions,
yes.
that's the.
But if you don't do it by the date that it's saying, then you have to follow whatever the state says forever.
I mean, we said you can have home occupation, it's conditional.
Yeah.
And so,
You can't do
Planning
it in the state. Home.
well, the planning and zoning can say, okay, you can't have pottery.
Yeah.
You can't be splitting wood, yes.
I will get the two house bills,
Yeah.
the links to
I'd
it,
like to be.
send it
Send
to
everybody.
everybody, okay? The other thing is taller buildings and where are we gonna do it?
We're gonna do it out on
On
7, yeah. I was upset to see trains move like that.
You can see the water if you get high enough.
how high are we going?
Well, that's 3 stories is 36 feet,
35.
6 feet.
Depends how you figure the peak.
3 stories seems like in a town that doesn't have high rises.
I don't want it to be a one story building, but,
No.
I'm from Philadelphia, where it bothers some.
and that's,
It's
they're
3
talking
stories
about.
something.
real estate. So, and again, it's gonna be the same.
Said Frank, said
3 stories, 4 stories.
He said.
Stories.
It's,
Especially if you're talking about
a boy,
nothing will happen.
we could say 3 stories, 4 stories.
I'm just,
That's a big expense.
I know, but it's,
Yeah, if you're fire department and all them. And also, you can do wood frame construction up to 5. You don't need to go to concrete.
Up to
High
4
five.
stories, is that what we mean?
I would say 3 or 4, I'm down, but I'm,
Well, again, here's an idea, 3 stories, and if you do something for the town, you get a density bonus to go to 4. I'm just encouraging
with, for the town,
incentive.
so with them giving a
zoning.
plan.
Give us something that,
So 3 stories,
or affordable housing deed free, you know,
3 stories. But
4-story conditional.
or
4-story,
conditional slab bonus or something.
Yeah.
And that gives you a little play.
just so everybody knows, this is really preliminary. Okay? Really, okay? The duplexes, which is in the comp plan, like what Jamie did put in there. Is that something we want to have everywhere?
Okay. You're allowed in the north.
I got, stop thinking of what's there though.
No, but I'm saying if you want to do it in these other zones, that's how you have to go in there and say, we want to say, you don't want to call R2, you want to call it zone, whatever, okay? Still, it's a vehicle.
This is going. Do it here, if you remove that thing under the 175. You would automatically be allowed to do this here because you do. It's
Here.
going.
But it can't be over here.
It can't be over there because that's just forced.
And you could put it, you could say almost anything, but what would happen is somebody in a 20,000 square foot lot. If you said you could have a duplex, maybe you decide to put a duplex on part of that land, tear down their house and put up, so.
But to make it ours, right? I like what has been said is these are approved. Go and put the big pink house and one side purple and whatever. I still would like it to be that it's uniform. It looks like a regular family home, but it's, I like those pictures that were in there that they put in. I don't know how anybody else agrees with that.
I have no problem with that. All this over here is. Well, way down, if somebody put a duplex in one.
Now, the
I just
duplex,
don't want it to look like.
the duplex is still under one ownership.
Yes,
You're not creating 2 separate parcels.
has to be one ownership and
They own both.
same one.
So
You can't.
I had to
subdivide it. Can't subdivide. Now, could you create a 2-unit condominium on the one parcel?
That's what the duplex, I would say, it looks like a single family home on one lot.
Yeah.
There's one owner.
It'll create. It's. I know they live in one side and then the other side or.
Family living in.
I don't share anything.
I lived once in a semi-detached house. Not a duplex, they were attached like that.
Barely.
And whatever wall it was, I don't know, because I heard.
Well, what you would, sometimes we have,
One,
Yeah, how about rent? That owner rents.
Yeah.
Okay.
well, it
That
doesn't
would
have to
be-
be owner occupied.
that's,
Build and rent 'em
You
both.
rent it, you rent both.
but that would fall under what Ken and I are finishing up that plan that Rising Sun has, which we're changing some words because it doesn't apply to them. So, that it is basically property management. So if they're renting it, it has to be inspected once a year. So, okay, so I don't want it to seem like we're just making the whole town rental without having, again, without, because of what we're dealing with over my way. So one owner and rent.
Duplex could also be 2-0. Doesn't have to be attached. You could have 2 abutting buildings. Technically separate structures with firewall. So they meet fire code.
Yeah.
They're just 0 lot line.
It's saving the gap.
It's comprehensive plan. If you look at the picture,
That picture,
we talked about the green zones. Definitely want to keep the green zones that are here, which is part of what this does because of stormwater. We talked about the ADUs. I know I have ADU because that's the computer. It's the new upgraded Department of Defense thing. Commercial property.
Before you start there, the new Charlestown Crossing development.
Yeah.
Along, is gonna add quite a few units, right?
Mhm.
Is there an opportunity there if we had commercial towards them? Those are the potential customers to make,
That would be,
that would be over there. I'm just asking, because right now, those people all would have to go to Northeast to get anything, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but they're,
Which isn't far.
they're having a road
They're
come out here.
access on Route 7. They've
They're
already-
coming down on 7, so if we had. I don't know, if on this end of town. Maybe in addition to this end, would it be able to pick up this customer base more conveniently than them going over the
I
water?
would say if we did this is a commercial. I would think.
Yeah.
Because
And you
the
have,
marinas are considered commercial, they're considered recreation. And yes, no, maybe this is commercial, but
That is already mentioned.
commercial residential.
and commercials allowed in R3. And so maybe what we need to say, Lauren, is going to be allowed after the zone 1.
So residential. In the future,
Honestly, I think in this, it's somebody can be in for this, as well. But the Cecil Hotel should be,
Popular.
because she wants
he
to
wants to
do
make
that.
it a
He
feature.
has
No problem. Yeah, we'll achieve this here.
But that is something that we need to put that over.
And she doesn't have a real problem with sitting on 3. That's why it's really.
And she has the parking.
Mhm.
Okay, short-term rentals, again, they can be anywhere, but that would fit under that property management thing. I was doodling, so excuse me. Recreational. Right now, we have campers and campgrounds, and marinas. For the campgrounds, and even if something would happen to the marinas. Not just campers, but possibly the tiny houses, cottages. Permanent structures, they're getting the water and sewer anyway.
Oh, okay, because I think the only difference.
But then the flood.
Campers,
Say it has to be elevated.
Yeah,
yeah.
on the
campers-
one side.
Yeah,
one
and
side,
and
but
you're allowing your out.
Here it's not.
No, I'm saying the campground, don't worry about the case here. What about the schoolhouses?
I would say that it's not that they live there full time, but it would be like a rental plan, a short-term rental.
But the camper that's not on wheels.
No, I'm just saying that you can allow them rent 365 days a year.
But I'm just writing down.
They rent it 365.
Well, then you care.
Because the thing is with campers, they don't want it to be like acres. Okay, so, that's what a stipulation.
Well, it's stuff to do.
Little tiny house on stilts. If it was, say, I'm coming into Charlestown, I want to stay here in the worst part of the summer, or the winter. It's 40 below zero outside, and I want to rent a place in the water.
Oh, I think you're worried about people either squatting or. You know.
These- Well, I'm thinking more tiny house Airbnb, okay, not a year-round rental.
So I'm saying, if it's a campground, it's 180 days. I don't care if they're there 365.
In the campgrounds, they put that in there, they said, because of what happened with Indian Acres. And it took forever to change that, okay, that took 10, 15 years to get that to happen. Where now it's in there that it's from April 1st to October 31st.
That's like Halloween.
We have it in there like that. The county does not. They just say 180 days. You heard that,
Yeah.
right?
So
So
when you turn the water in the sewer, like over here, in this one for sure, and even holidays, they have the same rules. And basically, it just says that the campers have to be roadworthy. They would have to remove every 150 days in Carson. So we come up with this, that once a year, we go over there and verify that the tire and the failure, they're not up on blocks. They can, if a flood came in, we could snatch it right out and it meets the requirement by FEMA and by the airport.
and some of these areas of campgrounds, either way, are not in.
And it's really weird over
Part of
there.
the campground is the green.
Yeah.
So it's something to think about in the future, and with HGTV and all these places, they're showing that people are buying these campgrounds and they're making tree houses, or they're making these tiny houses for people to come, and they are marketing it for like family get-togethers, or they're doing it for corporate retreats, or they're doing it for all that kind of stuff. And that's what I'm.
They'll do it until they start going bust. I mean, remember how we worried so much about the Dollar Store? They're closing after stores. Okay, that's coming out. Does that tag come? You're not prepared to live in your town. Then we get that bill.
Everything
Yeah.
virtual. And it could be that it's written in there that, these are for short-term rentals. This is forever. It's not that it's meant to be changing that section that has that, then you have to change it to,
Careful works, yeah.
like I said, it's something that we can write in there, not just, but I'm thinking of, what's going on. It's not just the campers there.
If you have tiny houses in there, but they could still be moved. So you could say you can't put it on a permanent foundation and treat it like a real house.
Yeah, one or two, if it was in the floodplain,
It would be.
it would have to be.
It would be
Right.
little.
Yeah, fine, and you're getting one of
Right.
And they have
I mean,
their-
They
they
do
already have
have-
So,
And you could give it not a permanent permit. Building permit, good for 5 years, and then it needs to be renewed. And, if floodplains have changed or something, it needs to be moved around.
Okay.
So,
You got two options, like you said, in the floodplain, it has to be movable, it has, if you're going to put it permanently there, it just has to be up on the stilts. And it has to be
and even
2
that.
feet above BFE. It could be.
Okay. Lot sizes. Kind of talking about that.
you have a lot size that generally works now. Okay, where you don't have a lot size. 20,000, 10,000. Create a different zone for shorter lot sizes. So
This is gonna be still bigger than what we have.
Yeah, the house is up. It's got 1,500 square foot lot.
That's the one that's for sale. Once, one of the original projects. And it's sold, it's pending.
House is only 590 square feet.
And the one.
if somebody's got a small house and one of them.
Their idea of going straight up. Basically.
House.
Yes.
The house is nice. I wouldn't feel
Really?
It's a large post.
Space.
Lot sizes, I'll just put, that's,
Are you using, well, are we getting the density? Or are the lot sizes determining the density?
lot sizes.
Okay. So units per acre. Is.
And it's basically, what that is only right here.
There's some of them in town that's already dictated.
Okay.
So we found,
I mean, our lots. mine.
Hmm.
My lot's only 6,000 square feet. But these were the original cottages they were here,
Lots of record.
and they were, I have two lots. We all have two lots.
They all told me they did that because they took, it's like 6,000, one bigger lot.
Well,
but nobody-
that's what happened a long time ago. John thought that they would, well, if your house or something happens to it, you can't do this. And you have to combine that. All that did was make the neighborhood deteriorate, fall apart. Then it came in going, well, we need to fix this. And now that's where the non-conforming lot rules come into effect. And when I first moved into town and wanted to move them, banks didn't want to deal with that because they knew what was happening here in town and they didn't want to take that chance because the way it was, if your house burnt down, so sorry, so sad.
It's kind of a little wonky with those small lots. It really is. There's a couple houses in town that,
And yet they had septic and tanks and wells at one time.
Cluster cottages. Pictures. It's not exactly what I was thinking, but I understand what they're doing.
Let me ask, to understand something, where you're headed. So you have minimum lots, a lot size, let's say it's 10,000. And,
It's less than.
well, whatever the number,
In the zone.
in a zone, and so you have a 10-acre lot. And, well, let's say you have a 1-acre lot. And it's minimum 10,000 lots. So on that 1 acre, you're only allowed 4 units.
Correct.
Okay. As opposed to separating the two. The minimum lot size to do anything is 10,000 square feet.
Yeah.
But the units per acre is some other, we're not doing. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
what happens is the lot size sometimes is immaterial. We have a 2 acre lot, across from the, beachcomber.
Yeah.
We put one house on. Because the forest retention put them down 15%.
Yeah.
So you may have 10,000 square feet, but you may find yourself with a building envelope that's 2,000 square feet.
Well, what I'm trying to get at is a very clear way to calculate the number of units you're allowed. In mathematically, how you do it. It's number of units, no matter where they are on the site. And whether they're.
Yeah, see, and
multifamily or-
that probably can't be done because it's as for our basis. Again, I'll go back to that 2 acre lot.
Okay,
She theoretically, or he should have theoretically had half of that lot in residential to be developed. Right. However, forest retention told him 15%. Conservation area told him 25%. By the time he got done, and not only that, is where he could put.
Sure.
Similar to
Right
what's
up
across
the
the
road.
street. Across the street, the hill where that wall is, same thing. Me too, that it's only what, 15% because of the conservation area that's in there. And that's why the developer left because we wouldn't,
So we're going to build the road either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he wanted us to build the road.
so the density on that example was based on the remainder of the lot determined to be buildable, or was it based on the whole parcel size, but you can only do it over here?
Well, it's much like the plan that came in today.
Okay,
I mean, he pushed all the open space to one side. Okay, he spread homes into that, he could spread them out, but
well, but
And he's looking at the fact of what we've been talking about. And no, we can't answer your question right this second, okay? If that's what you're trying to.
well,
get.
there's two ways to do
Okay,
that.
so
and that's sort of
he's,
more liberal
yes,
packaging because he's putting all that land to the side. Now, to the people who called in, they could care less because
It's the
divided,
design.
yeah, now had,
that's not what.
yeah.
Change. With that, I do agree that if we can get the access, I mean.
brought that up before.
We are
First
not,
time.
I'm hoping that people understand that this, even though they thought we had this plan that was being submitted for approval, there was none. So, which I know that you sent that for preliminary. But back to this, I know it's 8 o'clock now, so we can go. With cluster cottages, what is it?
Here, the bunch of,
My paper real quick, okay? I like this. This is,
And he said it comes in a 3, 4, 5 unit.
yeah,
Obviously.
and I like it. Because again, the single story, I think there's probably a little area up on the second floor, which I know that they were kind of pushing more towards. I know they wanted to put more townhouses. But this single story plans are here for the most part. Everything's on the first floor.
I was surprised. Yes, there's their cost that.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that,
Yeah.
how is that possible?
Well, I guess there's not a lot of material, and if you have to build firewalls between them. And I guess maybe there is nothing.
But I like how this is, and the doors are off to the side, so that it's,
They do a nice job with these things, and
and that's one thing that I said about the fact of seniors, because of the fact that we have so many seniors that are moving out of town because they can't be in their houses and they can't afford to do things, but if they get rid of the big house and move to a small house, understand. Again, this isn't exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking of having, like I've seen that it was like 1, 2,
More like,
4 plex.
and patio homes is another
Yeah.
term.
Understand this too.
and again, they may want to do them with multiple levels. And I don't panic about the elevators. They're relatively, to be honest with you.
I think,
It's still at a lower cost point, so, and it's still following what the 55 community is. It's in that sense. That was all I had from this so far. Is there anything you can think of that we need to talk about, Mark?
You.
Okay,
You
So-
got a motion?
no,
So,
since we're the. He's gotta hit the thing. Sharon,
it's all done.
yes.
I'm gonna go home. Me.